Hey guys, this is Joe Baker Photography, and as soon as I saw this cosplayer's outfit, I knew that I had to create some drama with it. So today I'm going to show you the behind the scenes of how I created this image, and be sure to stay tuned to the end as I'll show you some of my editing process. You'll be able to see the straight out of the camera, basic edits with Lightroom, and then some final edits using Photoshop and Evoto. All right, guys, as you can see, we have the lighting set up. I have a 26-inch cheetah stand QSB on a 8600 on an overhead boom, and then I have another 8600 from camera right with a strip box, and that's adding just a little bit of feel. What you can't see in the video, but you can see the white little box. Behind that box, there is an AD200, a Godox AD200 with a red gel attached to it. Now, it being an all-white studio, the cool thing is that red gel really fills up the entire set, and it has a lot of red saturation there. That's a really cool way to change the color of the background. Make a few more adjustments here. We are just trying to change that angle of that light. I really want it to be straight up from above, and I want the light to just kind of seem like it's a spotlight or it's like a heavenly type light. I am using my Sony a7R5 and the Tamron 17-28 f2.8. We tried various poses, and you can see I had her like balancing, and we wanted to try to get some different looks, especially with that spear. I hear the spear is very important to the story, and so it was cool that she actually was able to add it. And that spear is actually made of metal, so it is actually quite heavy, and so there were certain poses that she couldn't do, or she had to actually use quite a bit of strength to hold the spear at certain angles. I love the falling down type look. So she would get on her toes, and then she would kind of act like she was throwing it, and then she would angle forward, and that lean forward really adds a little dynamic to it. Kind of gives it that motion type of feel. At this point, I decided that I wanted to try a different modifier, and we went with a snoot with a grid on it. So I really wanted to make it a tight beam of light, and I wanted it to really focus on her face. The benefit to that was that it actually created a lot more saturation on from the gel itself, and it allowed me to and it added a deeper red feeling to the image. Not pictured, but we eventually changed that because it was really too tight there, and I ended up switching it out, even though I didn't get any video footage of it, but I ended up switching out to a 7 or 8 inch reflector with a grid, just to give me a little bit more spread, as this spread was really, really tight. We did manage to capture some great images with it, so be sure to check those out here in a little bit. So now we are going to take a look at the images through Lightroom. I'm going to show you the straight out of camera, the basic edits, and then the final products. As you can see, also by the cast on my face in this video, is that there is quite a bit of red in these images. And I'm going to show you each one straight out of camera. You can see that there's some different textures on the ground. There is different textures over here to the right. We have a tile ceiling, and I shot at f7.1, 1/160th of a second, ISO 100, and it's 17 millimeters. So we're able to get all of that. And then you can also see right here the boxes, or it's just one box, just the box, and I hid the AD200 behind it. And this is the drawing one. At this point, I had switched to a grid, and you'll notice how the shadow's a little bit harder, not a grid, I switched to a snoot, and you'll notice that the shadow's a little bit harder than it was on the previous image. The same thing with this one. And I did keep the light from above, and here you can kind of see the box. on this one too. I cropped it so I wouldn't have to worry about editing the box. Just a little tip and trick there. Sometimes you can just crop it out. And then finally, she called this the basic anime or cosplay pose. And I just had to edit the box out here and the box out here. So if we go to, take that out and go to just our Lightroom edits, you can see it looks like I increased the saturation a little bit, but really all I did was increase the contrast. I brought down the highlights a little bit, raised the shadows, and just little tweaks on the whites, and added a little bit of clarity, but I really didn't do a lot in this. Same thing with this image. You see it's a little bit more saturation. We still see the box back here. You'll notice that this is at a 2:3 crop. And then right here, just more saturation, added a little bit more shadows, raised the shadows a little bit because her face was kind of out of the light. And on this one, I actually lowered it because we started using the 8-inch reflector with a grid inside of it to get that beam of light on her. Now we'll go to our final images here. And you can see that when I brought it into Photoshop, I basically removed the tile. There's the tracks that hold the tile in place. And then I removed the box itself. I probably could have done a little bit better job of removing the box, but I'm not really entering this into any type of contest. This was just a little practice shoot while I was in Dallas. I'm not really that concerned with it. I was more for her, and she loved the images whenever I gave them to her, so I was not really concerned about removing the box. You can definitely spend more time on your editing, and if you want to get rid of that box even more, you definitely go for it. And here, the box was removed a little easier. And basically what I did is I created a selection around the box, and then I used generative fill. And it worked really good on this particular image, but on the previous image, it didn't work as well as that one. Here, again, I had to remove this box here. I had to go in with the pen tool and just outline the box, and that was able to do a generative fill better whenever I made a better selection on it. And also on this one, I actually, in Photoshop, I expanded it to a 1:1 crop instead of a 2:3 crop. I like providing 1:1 because I think it's easier for models to post. I don't always do it, but every now and then I try to do it. And as you can see, I did crop up just to make sure that I didn't have to Photoshop that box out. You know, sometimes it's just easy, just go ahead. And for me, it's all about the spear and the pose, not necessarily the legs the way that they were. And then finally, on that last part, on this, she called it the basic cosplay anime pose. It's basically where she, they're in this squatting position or whatever. I did have to lower the light, and at this point, we were using the 7 or 8 inch dish with the grid in it to keep that light on her face like that. Well, there you go. I hope that you enjoyed those images, and definitely let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to turn my face away from getting red there. There we go. And I truly enjoyed sharing this shoot with you. I like doing these creative shoots. I implore you to go out and do some more creative shoots. One of my biggest mantras when I'm teaching other photographers is go out there and create the shot. Don't just take the shot. And as you can see, whenever I was taking these photos, I was being very deliberate, and I was taking my time in between each photo or each setup to make sure that I got exactly what I wanted. Get out there and create the shot. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know if you have any comments or questions. Put them in the comments. I've been trying to answer every comment possible. Thanks so much for all of the love on the last video. I appreciate that. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications when I post my next video. And just remember, go grab your camera and just go shoot, man.